Alexander Vane was the kind of man newspapers called impossible to reach. Billionaire tech mogul, heir to one of the most powerful real estate dynasties in Africa, and founder of Vane Tech, a company that had built smart cities from Lagos to Dubai. His face graced the covers of Forbes and GQ, and even the president picked his calls on the first ring. His life was sharp suits, private jets, and people who said, "Yes, sir," before he even opened his mouth. And yet, he was sick of it. He didn't know it, not yet. But wealth had dulled him. Every deal was a repeat. Every woman, a mirror of the last. He lived in a glass house, with gold floors and diamond windows, but there was no soul in it, no chaos, no truth. Just silence and shallow people pretending to matter. Then, on a blistering Thursday afternoon, Lagos traffic made a fool of even his private security convoy. His Rolls-Royce Phantom, a limited edition, matte black, 12-cylinder monster, choked and died on the mainland. Just like that, no warning. The driver pulled over in a frantic rush, trying to call their in-house mechanic. But the engine had gone silent, dead as a stone. They had broken down on a narrow, gritty street with hawkers, shouting bus conductors, and the smell of suya wafting through hot air. On the corner, tucked between a dusty electronics stall and a woman selling roasted corn, was a tiny garage. God First Auto Repairs. The paint on the sign was fading, the building was cracked. But what caught Alexander's eye wasn't the building, it was her. She was bent over a red Honda Accord, her lower half sticking out from beneath the bonnet. Her overalls were stained black with oil. Her hands were steady, her brow furrowed. There was a smudge of grease across her cheek, and she wiped it with the back of her hand like she didn't care who was watching. No makeup, no pretense, just a woman at war with metal, fire, and machine. Her name was Emara. The driver, too proud to ask a street mechanic for help, grumbled about calling a tow truck. But Alexander, out of impulse, boredom, or some divine nudge, stepped out of the car and walked straight up to her. "Excuse me," he said. She didn't look up. "Give me a minute." That was the first time anyone had ever told Alexander Vane to wait, and she meant it. She tightened a bolt, wiped sweat from her temple, then finally rose and turned to face him. When she saw him, his $1,000 shoes, his designer sunglasses, the confidence leaking out of his pores, she didn't flinch. "You lost?" she asked. "My car's dead," he said. "Yours seems alive." She gave a crooked half smile. "Mine fights back. Yours probably died of boredom." And just like that, he laughed, genuinely. No forced chuckle for investors, no polite smile for diplomats. A real, unfiltered laugh that surprised even him. He asked her if she could take a look at his car. She shrugged. "If I can fix a 2003 Peugeot, I can definitely handle your rich man toy." She worked on the Rolls-Royce like it was a puzzle she intended to defeat. As she fiddled with the engine, he sat on a plastic chair, watching her. Not just her hands or her figure, though she was stunning in that unpolished, earthy way, but the way her mind moved. She talked to the machine like it owed her money, and it obeyed. In under 20 minutes, the engine coughed back to life. "How much?" he asked. She looked at him and said, "How much do you think I should charge you?" He said, 10,000. She raised an eyebrow. "Rich man, please behave." He pulled out his wallet and handed her $50,000 in cash. She stared at it, then at him. "That's stupid money," she muttered. "Then spend it wisely," he said, "or burn it, up to you." He left that day, but something stayed behind. Over the next few weeks, he found reasons, excuses to return. A flat tire, a rattling noise, a sudden pull to the left. Things he could have fixed with one call to his in-house garage, but instead, he found himself parking outside her shop. She started calling him Oga Rich Man, and he started calling her Boss Lady. They talked about things that mattered. He told her how empty the boardroom felt. She told him how her father died in a factory fire because the company cut corners. She had vowed never to depend on anyone but her own two hands. He found himself craving her honesty, her fire, her refusal to be impressed by him. And one day, in the most ridiculous, unimaginable way, he realized he was in love. Not when she smiled, not when she wiped oil across her cheek and grinned, but when she shouted at him, for showing up drunk to her garage after a bad business deal had gone south. "You think because you're rich, you can just come in here and collapse in my chair like your pain is special?" she said. "You want a pity party? Go host one in Ikoyi." He stared at her, and in that moment, broken, hungover, humiliated, he loved her. Because she didn't want his money. She didn't fear his power. She wanted him to be better. So he changed. He started waking up earlier, spent less time drinking, more time thinking. He offered to invest in her garage. She refused. "If you love me," she said, "help me grow, but don't build the garden for me." When he finally proposed, it wasn't on a yacht or in Paris. It was under the hood of her garage, engine grease on his cheek, holding out a simple silver ring. She looked at it, then at him. "You know I'm not leaving this garage for your mansion, right?" He smiled. "Then I'll build a mansion with a garage." And that was how Alexander Vane, the untouchable, unshakable billionaire, fell for a poor mechanic in a greasy jumpsuit. Not because she needed saving, but because she didn't. And that, my friend, is what real love looks like.